So since Donald Trump came into office, right? I think there's a lot of shaking that has been taking place in the market, right? So a lot of I would say unpopular decisions, okay, actually is really shaking the market. There is a lot of uncertainty among the believers, right? Among the investors and so on. And people are really, there are probably a group of people who are confident about, where the market is going. And another group of people, I believe they are quite uncertain and they are probably are pulling back, and waiting, right, for what is going to happen and so on. So we can see there is an uncertainty, okay, in the market, right? And also, right, this tariff has actually been creating a lot of uncertainty, right? And also flip-flopping, right? So every time Donald Trump flip-flop his decisions, right, it actually affect the conditions of the market. So now, whenever there is a uncertainty, right, whenever there is an uncertainty, normally what the investor will do, they will basically move into a safe haven asset. Safe haven assets like gold, right? You see gold price is actually going up because investors may not want to hold a US dollar. So at this moment, right, you can see the confidence not only in this country, US, right? Not only the confidence in the US, but also a lot of these investors, right? Or those who want to even probably buy the bond, okay, or the treasury yields and so on, right? So they may not really have the confidence to do so because the nation's in heavily debt, right? And today you are hearing that they are going to pass, I think they already passed the big beautiful bills, right? That Donald Trump wants to basically introduce, and there is a dispute, okay, there's a dispute and feud even with Elon Musk and so on. So you can see, right, there is a lot of uncertainties actually is going on. So now I think they are waiting for the for the next approval. I think that will be the final approval, and all this, right, actually is pushing the market up and down. Okay, so that is basically that is happening, right? So there is a lot of indecisiveness, there's a lot of uncertainty taking place, and today we saw even Bitcoin, right, already hitting about $110, right? Now, all these things are driven by this uncertainty that is taking place because a lot of investors may want to remove their US dollars, they may want to even remove their treasury, their bonds, and so on, and move into a safe haven assets, right? So that is the reason why you can see gold price, and even Bitcoin price. So a lot of institutions are basically banking on Bitcoin and, all the other cryptos, ETF, and so on. Okay, so these are some of the things that I want you to understand. Okay, and it is not an easy market to navigate if you are trading, right? If you are really trading, if you are in this market, it is not an easy market to navigate because you can see that Bitcoin price can come down by $4,000 or $5,000, and then the next day it can just go up another $4,000 or $5,000, invalidating, all those, gain or losses, okay, that people actually have experienced the day prior to it. So these are scenarios of the market, okay? So if you are not really passionate, and if you are not really in the market to understand what is going on, and if you are trading and you are not really sure about the fundamental analysis and also, right, about this news that is taking place, so you have to always consistently get yourself updated, okay, with this news because people are mistaken about Bitcoin. All right, they don't really understand about Bitcoin. Please understand, Bitcoin is driven by behavioral of those people who are holding, this asset. It is completely different than the forex market or the stock market, okay? Because forex and stock market is heavily regulated by the financial institution. All right, so if the financial institution decide, okay, they're only going to basically be there for 5 days, that is it, right? Saturday, Sunday, there is no transaction taking place. But when it comes to Bitcoin, it's completely different. It is all about behavioral that drive the price of Bitcoin. And this is what the institutions, the ETF players are doing, right? They are using the price. They're using the media to actually create an impression that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. If you don't buy now, okay, you're going to lose out. And they are basically, you know, creating this kind of narrative, right? In order to get the retails to come on board and buy at the time where they have already actually purchased at that level, and they are now waiting to actually draw down and take their profit. So before they do that, what do? They actually now create a narrative saying to the community, to the you know, now is the time to go in to buy. So when you go in at this time to buy, you are going to push the price even further up. So when you push the price even further up, they are already ready. Can you see that? They are ready to actually sell. Okay, they are ready to actually sell. They are ready to actually let go at that, at that price, right? So this is most of how things are taking place, okay, in this industry. So you have to be very careful at this moment, right? Because there can be a lot of traps, okay, being put and so on. Okay, so this is the reason why I think we really need to understand about the market situations and so on. So there is nothing that can actually confirm or verify that it can go to $1 million. Nothing. All right. Although people say that Bitcoin is a store of value, but for me, I look at it from a different perspective. The moment the ETF was introduced, Bitcoin is no longer a store of value, so-called how we claim it before. Because when the institutions are involved, institutions don't care about holding. Institutions only care about profit taking. So please understand that. Okay. So their job is to actually take profit because they have to deliver a profit. They have to deliver, to their stakeholders, right? So that is what basically that is happening. So you can see or you hear that BlackRock is actually acquiring more and more Bitcoin. Yes, they're acquiring, but also wait until they sell. So when they sell, everything is going to just collapse. Now, the greater the price of Bitcoin, even a 1% or 2% movement downwards can create a huge loss to so many people. That's why you are seeing, right? Whenever we talk about liquidation, the liquidation is now much, much bigger and greater compared to the liquidation we used to have 5 years or 6 years ago. It's completely different because the price of Bitcoin is now no longer 20,000 or 5,000, right? The price now is about 100,000. So the volume of that liquidation, although it can be small, but in terms of the US dollar, right, it can actually be huge. That's why you are looking at billions of dollars can get liquidated in a few hours, right? So that is how big the impact is. So imagine, right, the big players may not feel it, but how about small players? How about people like you and me or retails who are going in there just trying to hold that one Bitcoin and thinking that one Bitcoin is going to go to 250,000 or 500,000 or $1 million, right? It is not happening, right? So people get frustrated. So when price starts to comes down, the panic and fear starts to drive them. So what happened? Now it changed the behavior, right? So it affects the behavior. So when it affects the behavior, what do? They then basically sell, right? Because they don't want to lose holding it, not knowing whether there is a future in this kind of asset. Okay, so this is some of the important insight, okay, that I just want you to understand, because you have to be very careful, okay, with how things is moving in the market at this moment. If you ask me, I would rather, right, as I mentioned to you, the strategy is different. Many years ago, I told people you need to buy Bitcoin and hold because it is a store of value. But the moment the ETF came into picture, Bitcoin is now behaving like a stock market. So that's the reason why watch the stock market. The stock market is already at the all-time high. Okay, it is already now actually at a high, right? It is now just waiting for times to collapse. So if a stock market drop by 20%, Bitcoin will probably drop 2 or 3 times of that value. All right, so you have to be very careful, right? So this is what is happening. So the day Bitcoin ETF come into picture, Bitcoin starts to behave more like a stock. So that is the reason why you are seeing a lot of correlation between Bitcoin and the stock. All right, so this is some of the important insights. So that's why watch the stock market. Stock market goes up, you can see Bitcoin price goes up. So like today, right, stock market went up because of the confidence of the bill that has been actually passed in the house. So the stock market starts to goes up. All right, now if suddenly, right, you can see if suddenly Elon Musk goes into the social media and start to attack Donald Trump and start to create unnecessary chaos, then you're going to start to see the price of Bitcoin comes down. Or if Iran starts to the war again and they start to send ballistic missiles to Israel or whatever, right? Geopolitical tension, suddenly you see the price of Bitcoin starts to collapse. Okay, so a lot of this unknown factor is affecting the price of Bitcoin. Okay, so just take note of some of these important insight, because this is why we are here, right? The technical AMA session, so that you understand what is really happening, right? Okay, great. All right. First of all, thank you so much, okay, for coming on board. Today, I think, as I mentioned, right, on the first week and the third week, every fortnightly, we will have the AMA session. AMA is Ask Me Anything session. So these are basically technical session related to JDXBOT and also the CopyMaster. Okay, so if you have any technical question related to these two, right? So you can actually use this platform to ask me any questions. Just make sure the scope of the questions is related to the, to the JDXBot and also the CopyMaster. Okay, nothing else, right? So if there's any other questions that I will not entertain and so on. Okay, so just take note of that. So what I want to do today is that I want to basically, go through a few important agenda, right? The first thing first is just to take a look at the market, basically the crypto market, where the market is going, what can we expect, and so on. We may not really have a grip of what is really taking place, right, at the moment. Okay, but the thing is that I want to give you some idea about, what is the upside target or downside target, and also the correlation with the USDT dominance and so on. Okay, we're going to just take a screenshot of what the market is taking place. Okay, then I'm going to also look into JDXBot. Just want to give you an update on the strategy subscription plan. I think many of you probably would have received an email, right? That especially if your subscription is already expired, you might have received an email of deactivation. I'm going to explain to you what that means, okay, later on shortly. And then I'm going to share with you the monthly results, okay, for the month of March to June 2025, because in the month of March is where we actually had the optimized code being introduced, whereby those users from the from the pre-launch, right, you migrated into the optimized code and so on. Okay, so that will be basically where we started monitoring the performance of the bot after we actually did improvement to the bot performance and so on. And then I'm going to share with you one of the most important and I think misunderstood topic, or subject, right, when it comes to trading, between the win rate and the P&L ratio. All right, so we're going to look into it and why I am not really in favor of win rate, and why P&L ratio is actually a more superior indicator or more superior measurement, right? So I'm going to share with you. And then we're going to look a little bit into the JDXCopyMaster. I want to show you the unrealized result, right? Because I think the bot, the copy trading has been running from the 29th of May, around a month, okay? And at the moment, we have not fully closed all the positions yet, okay? Some of the positions are still floating. I did update it in the group today, but I want to show you how you can actually check your unrealized results, okay? This will be like unrealized, because to give you an understanding, if we close all the position, what will be the realized profit, okay? So we're going to look into it, and thereafter, if you have any Q&A, all right, if you have any question and so on, right, so we can actually look into it. All right, so much. Okay, now first thing first, as I mentioned to you, let's quickly look into the crypto market outlooks. Okay, so let me just show you quickly what is really taking place. in the market at this moment. Okay, so if we look right, this is basically a Bitcoin's charts at this moment, right? If we look into the channel, right, price actually has been moving throughout this channel, and over here, right, you can see that we started to see a rejection taking place, and then we saw the push, and then currently Bitcoin on the daily time frame, right, today, right, it's already above the channel. Now, we can't confirm until this daily candle actually closes, okay? Because sometimes it can even close and come inside the channel, and then it can even move all the way down here. So we do not know, at the moment, right, what will happen to this. But if Bitcoin, I think, remain above 110,000, it is quite a bullish sign. It can even go to 112,000. All right, and also, right, if you look at the trend line that I have here, right, if I just make this trend line smaller, right, you can see that this is where we have the all-time high. Okay, this is somewhere in 2017, and then April 2021, and then we got November 20. So if you join all these historical all-time high, you can see that we are currently, right, if we're going to hit, I think we could even go about 115,000 or even 120,000 range. Okay, so this is the line that we need to watch, because every time it touches this line, right, you can see there is a rejection taking place, because these are the historical trend line. Okay, so this is a very important historical trend line, and I don't think that this trend line will be broken, but the longer it takes, the higher it can actually go following this trend line, right? So this is just to give you an idea, how I see the market is at this moment. And high likely, right, as I mentioned to you, there is a possibility, right, that we could see what we say all-time high, okay, hitting 115,000 or even 120,000. Okay, but the thing is that we do not know when can this happen, and it's also depend on the market sentiment itself. But currently, I can see that it is basically has hit about 110, okay, about 110, and we already start to see rejection. So let's go into the hourly, right? You can see that we have just saw a rejection. So we do not know, right? As I mentioned to you, we still have a few more hours, and high likely it can even return back into the channel. All right. So this is just to give you an outlook. Please understand that I believe today the market is pumping. One is because of the bill that they passed in the House, right? The second thing is also because today is the last day of the market for the US market, because tomorrow I think is an Independence Day, right? So there won't be any trading tomorrow. And also today, please take note, we have a non-pump payroll report, unemployment rate. This too is a very important. I think at around 8:30, right? 8:30 New York time, we will have this report. So most of the time, right? Most of the time we will see a pump before the report. And when the report comes out, right, high likely, right, we can actually see a major dump and so on taking place. Okay, but please watch. Okay, now the other thing is that if you look into the CME gap, right, this is quite interesting, because if you look into the CME gap, we still have a gap around 92,000. All right, so previously we had a gap. See that all these gaps, right, all this gap, either later or sooner, right, this gap will actually be filled. So you can see a lot of this gap are already filled, and that we still have about 92,000 gap there. So high likely, right, Bitcoin can actually go and fill this gap. All right, and it can even go even further down, because there are many other gaps, okay, that has not been filled yet. All right, so in case Bitcoin breaks down, okay, in case Bitcoin break down, the level that we need to watch, like 98,000, all right, is a level big, and then we also have 92,000 and so on, right? So all these levels are important levels that we need to watch. Okay, so just take note of that. Now, the other thing is that that we also are seeing the correlation, right? At the moment, while Bitcoin price is going up, if we look into the USDT dominance, right, you can see USDT dominance is basically opposite of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin price goes up, USDT dominance actually coming down. Okay, so this is the correlation between the USD dominance and the Bitcoin price. So if the USDT dominance starts to go up, then you will see Bitcoin price will start to come down. All right. So this is an important indicator that you can use, okay, to watch what is really happening with the market. But at the moment, if I go into the stock market, you can see the stock market is up. All right. So since the stock market is up, this is, I think, one of the reasons why Bitcoin is behaving more like a stock market. So and also when you talk about the stock market, it is already at the top. Okay, the market currently at the top. I think it is at risk of correction anytime soon. Okay, so this is something we need to really watch. I would really say, right, watch the stock market, because what happened to the stock market, Bitcoin will actually correlate to it. Okay, and even if you look into the stock market, there are few gaps, okay, around 6,000. And then we have another gap here around 5,720. Now, imagine, right? If the stock market correct, okay, 10%, it can be 30 or 20% correction to Bitcoin. If the stock market correct 20%, Bitcoin is at risk of free fall, all right? So it can even correct 50 or 60%. Some people, they don't agree when we say this, because all that they're thinking is that Bitcoin price must always go up and never comes down, okay? Now, don't be too sentimental if you are actually holding Bitcoin, because this is how the market works. What goes up will have to come down, okay? But Bitcoin is, I like Bitcoin because Bitcoin is stable in terms of the, in terms of the economic of Bitcoin itself. But the thing is that it is volatile because of the institutions that are basically involved in the market. Okay, so institutions can actually push the price and so on. Okay, so if you look into the liquidation, right, this is another critical indicator, right, that you need to watch. So if you look into the liquidation heat map, right, so you can see, okay, Bitcoin price actually went all the way up. Can you see that? It went all the way up to actually liquidate all those, all those stop losses, right? All those stop losses, or even all those short, okay, that actually been placed over there. So it can even go up. Can you see that? Around 111,000, right? 111,000. So that's what I'm telling you, right? 111, 112,000, high likely that Bitcoin can actually revisit the all-time high before we can even see the reversal. But also at the time, you can see a lot of the buy order has been placed at the bottom right, waiting not to buy this price when it actually comes down. Okay, so if we look into the 24 hours, right, a lot of the liquidations are already building up at the bottom there. All right, a lot of the liquidation. So this is I think this is a brilliant brilliant insight. Please understand, as I mentioned, right, Bitcoin always follows where the liquidation is. It's always about the liquidity grab, right? So this is how the market makers works. Okay, the market makers works in this manner. They always, grab the liquidity. All right, they always grab the liquidity. So for the institution, for the exchanges, they don't care about, they don't want the price to go up that fast, okay, because all that they want is basically to build liquidity. So once they build liquidity, they will then go and take up this liquidity. So if you go and look at the 1 week, right, so you can see this is just brilliant, right? So if you look, right, can you see that Bitcoin came down, all right, came down around 105. It took out all this liquidity, right? Grab all this liquidity, and then it went up, take up all this liquidity, all right? And then it went up, take up all the liquidity here. So now what will happen? It will move sideways. So when it moves sideways, it will allow for the liquidity to be built up, and wherever there is a high liquidity, it will then come down, okay? It will then come to grab those liquidity. So this is how the market makers actually makes money. All right, so please understand that, okay, because a lot of us, right, a lot of us we are trading or we are placing our trades in the exchanges, but the problem is that you don't know there are insiders that are really watching all those order sizes, right, number of orders that have been placed. They know exactly, so they will build the liquidity. They may not want to quickly to go and grab the liquidity because they may be looking at millions of stop losses, millions of order sizes, right? So they are waiting for certain volume to be built up before they can even actually drive the price to go and grab those liquidity. So this is the reason why I'm against the stop losses, right? I teach you guys not to put stop losses because stop losses are for the losers. All right. So because the brokers or the exchanges knows exactly where the stop losses are. If you are from the Forex, right? Everyone who trade Forex, they always have the standard way of doing a stop losses, right? Few percentage, they must put a stop loss. What is the number of pips and so on. Now, come on, guys. The broker knows that. So that's why about 98% or 99% of Forex traders always lose money, right? Because they do exactly as how everyone do. But the brokers or the hedge fund, they don't use stop losses, okay? They trade without stop losses because they know how to manage their wallet properly, okay? So this is, I think, a very important insight that you need to understand. But the problem is that conventionally, everyone learns the same thing. All right. So I think the only thing, the only person or the only company that doing differently, probably JD Wealth Maker and myself, right? So because of that, you are the 1% that trade differently, and you are actually generating more profit compared to the 99% that following everyone else. Can you see that? So that is the reality that we are seeing at this moment, right? So that's the reason why for JD Wealth Maker, you can see our JDXBOT algo trading and our CopyMaster, there is no stop losses. All right. And yet we are still able to safeguard the position from not getting liquidated and taking advantage, of the profit taking. I think that is awesome, right? So that is basically what is really happening at the moment, right? So I hope, okay, this gives you an idea, okay, about the market. Now, the other important thing I can add on towards that is also the fear and greed index. Okay, now if you look into the fear and greed index, it is now already, can you see that? Yesterday was greedy, was greed. Today it is already 73. So now please understand, okay, if the market is greedy, then you have to be fearful. If the market is fearful, then you have to be greedy. All right. So that simply means that, if this index starts to grow normally above 70 and so on, it is considered as greedy, right? So that's why you are seeing a lot of the buy is taking place because of the greed. So now, since it is greed, right? So now you have to do the thing opposite. Okay, so you have to wait, because once it's already at the high rate of greed, then you're going to start to see a lot of the selling taking place. Okay, so this is basically the situation when come to the fear and greed index. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, right? I hope this insight is helpful just to give you some idea about the market and so on. Now, please understand, okay, don't discount and say that there is no way Bitcoin can go down. Let me tell you something. We have been in the industry for many, many years. We have seen Bitcoin correct 50%, 60%, all right? So please understand, okay? Bitcoin will do what Bitcoin like to do. Bitcoin doesn't care about technical analysis. Bitcoin doesn't care about resistance. Bitcoin doesn't care about support. Bitcoin doesn't care. Even if you are a lawyer or engineer, who cares? Bitcoin doesn't care. Okay. Bitcoin do what it will do. Right? Please take note of that. Okay. All right, so that is basically the situation. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Okay, any questions or anything that you would like to clarify about the market before we move on to the next, to the next agenda? Any questions, guys? I hope this is helpful. If this is helpful, please put that in the chat room. All right, that will be really good. All right. Is this helpful, guys? If it's helpful, please put in the chat room yes or something, right? Thumbs up, right? So, and then we can just move on. I don't want to deal too much with the market because a lot of these trades are done autonomously, autopilot. So I don't see, that the user at this moment really need to understand about the market in depth. All right. But the thing is that I think this kind of insight, right, is just needed for you to see a snapshot of the market, okay, so that you understand what is really happening with the market and so on. Okay, so that's the reason why, because a lot of us with JD Wealth Maker, I think you do not need to worry, right? Because you are basically connected to the auto trading, right? So, but the thing is that I think it is important to understand the behavior of the market. That is the most important. Now, please understand, right? Don't focus too much on the technicality, all right? As I mentioned, right, my focus is a lot has to do with the tacticality, right? Tactical, okay? Tactical strategy is more superior than technical strategy, all right? That is important. So even if technically you are good, you can identify the support, you can identify the resistance. What is the guarantee that the price will actually respect the resistance and the support? What is the guarantee? All right, market can be manipulated. So if you are too technical, and then when you start to trade and then market go against you, it doesn't respect the support and the resistance, then what you going to do? Can you understand me? So that's the reason why, right, it is important that let me see. Okay, that's good. Okay, all right. I think we will probably see the market, right? Let's just, it's good to see the result that is being shared by Obong there, right? So, but anyhow, I think you will start to see the market reacting once this kind of report is out. Then the market will be start to react and so on. Okay, so we will wait and see. Okay, for the reaction and so on. All right, so so that you can see real time, right, what is really happening with the market and so on. Okay, so but the thing is that what I'm trying to say is that don't be too technical, guys. Okay, this is why people lose their money trying to learn about technicality and so on, but they lose and misunderstand about the tacticality of it. So you have to be tactical. Tactical here means that your wallet management is more important than the technical aspects of it. All right. Yes, if you are going into the war zone, right, you are able to use your let's say you're able to use your weapons, right? You know how to use your weapon very well. That is the technical aspects of it. But the problem is that even if you know how to use your armors or your weapon, if you don't know how to manage your ammunition, all right, your bullet, you will still get killed if all your bullet is gone. So the bullet management, your wallet management is more critical compared to your ability to actually shoot the enemy, because that is the technical part of it. Okay, you don't go to the battlefield to learn the technical, right? You go to the battlefield already know how to shoot. All right, so that is the reason why things can change. Even if you identify support and resistance, you have this channel, you can do all kinds of drawings, right? But the thing is that does not determine. If things goes wrong after you place an entry, what you're going to do next. That is the most important. Can you see that? But that is what most traders don't learn, right? They don't learn how to manage a position if the position go against them. All right. So it doesn't happen here because we already actually look into that. Look into the situation. If the market go against me, how are we going to manage this? How many total DCAs you have in place? How many total hedging you have in place? Right, we have already actually calculated everything even before it actually occurs. Can you see that? Because most of the time, right, let me tell you, 80% of the position that people place, it will go against them. All right, it will go against them. Okay, because there is no perfection when come to any technical, because there is a lot of manipulation takes place when come to crypto trading. All right, so I hope all right, this insight is helpful. Now, let me just go back to the chart, right, quickly, right? Let's see, okay, because the market has just released the report, right? So let's see what happened when the report is released. So you can see, right? Can you see that? So we might see dump taking place, because even as I look into the money flow is already coming down, right? Money flow already coming down. So let's just see what happened. Okay, this is going to be very, very interesting, right? So now while we're waiting for that, let's just move on. All right, let's just move on. Okay, so that is the first thing that we see. Okay, so basically just to give you a snapshot, okay, of all those tools that you have in place, so that all those tools that you have in place. All right, that so that you know how you can actually use those tools those correlations and so on. Okay, so I hope that is clear. All right. Okay, now let's move on to the next, basically the JDXBOT. All right, the JDXBOT. Okay. Okay, now first thing first, right? I just want to give an update because normally during the technical session, right? I give you an update of some of those improvement that we have done, some of those updates that we have put in place. Okay, so just to make sure you are up to date, okay, with some of those information. Now, remember previously, right, on the 22nd of May, I actually presented on the subscription renewal notification, whereby we have the 6th email and the notification that will be sent, okay, on a different intervals and so on. All right. Now, okay, so please understand, right? I think there was a questions that was asked. I just want to make sure this question is clarified, okay? Now, in the event you receive the last email, right? The last email is your bot is deactivated. So when you receive this last email, because mainly, right, if your subscription expired, you receive all the reminders and so on, and then finally, right, if you still didn't renew, then you get your bot deactivation notice of notice, right? That's a final notice, right? Now the question is that what happened if my bot is deactivated due to subscription expiration? Will all my open position be closed in losses, or do I have to manage them manually? Right now, this is the concern, right? Now, I think this is a concern because a lot of our users are also part of other platform, whereby in the event your subscription expired, they will actually deactivate you and decouple you. You need to, and I think most of the platform, you will be at loss. All right, you will be at loss. Whatever at that point of time, if they stop your bot, you will be at loss. So that is I think is a huge implication for the users, right? And we have been studying on this, and we don't want to do that to our global users. Okay, so therefore, right, this is the answer. Okay, now when your bot is deactivated, any floating position will still be managed by JDXBOT until the position are closed in profit. Okay, however, if the subscription is not renewed, no new position will be opened thereafter. Okay, so now please understand, okay, we don't want to do what other platform to do. By right, as a standard practice, that is what we need to do, right? But what we are trying to do is that we want to make sure that we continue to support, we continue to manage your position until whatever position you have, the USDT, USDC, or BTC closes. So once the position closes in profit, if you still have not renewed, no new position will be open. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, is this clear? All right, you might want to put in the chat room, okay, so that this is clear, because I know that if I'm not mistaken, today a lot of the emails went out, notifying that, that the deactivation, right? So if you have a position open by JDXBOT, you do not need to worry, all right? But if you don't have a position, then no new position will be open until you renew. Okay, so please take note of that. Okay, so I hope this clarification is helpful. Okay, if it is helpful, please put that in the chat room so that I know that you understand and it is helpful for everyone. Okay, all right, great. Now let's just okay, any questions on this before I proceed? Any questions on this? No, it's clear, right? It's clear, right? Okay, great. Okay, awesome. All right, just take note, okay, because this is all recorded, so those people who are watching later on, right, so they know that we have already addressed some of this issue, right? But please understand, okay, we are trying to be graceful, we are trying to protect our team. We don't want anyone to lose or experience losses. So that is the reason why we are doing what we are doing, which is completely different, than any other platform. Most platform, right, normally if it's expired, that is it, right? They don't care about it. Okay, but the thing is that it's a bit different here, because this is what it meant by partnership. All right, we want to make sure that we continuously manage that until that final position closes. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay, all right, now let's just move on. Okay, great. Now Now, the next thing, right, is basically, let's take a look at JDXBOT performance so far, okay? So here we have basically a 3 months performance. We have excluded the May because May is where the technical glitch happened, all right? So we have excluded that because the data is actually distorted. So what we're going to see, basically the 3 months performance up to the month of June, okay? Now, if you look, right, the month of March, so here we got an asset under management, and then we got our total realized profit, and these are the percentage of the total realized profit, and also the profit sharing. Remember, in the month of March and April, the profit sharing was still 70, but after the technical glitches, right, we have actually revised the profit sharing, whereby the users or our partners now enjoy extra, right? So now you enjoy 75% profit sharing. So 70-30 is now changed to 75-25, okay? And this is the total net profit that the users are actually earning. Our global users are actually earning based on the asset under management. And then these are basically the percentage of the total net profit, okay? After deduction of all the fees, this is the total net profit percentage that the users has been earning for the month of March, 19%. April is about 15%. These are average, right? And in the month of June, that is about 19%. So you can say around 20% is your net profit, all right, that you are basically earning, right? So, but if you look into the month of June, there is a huge increase, right? Because of the 75% profit sharing that goes to the partners, all right? So we are expecting that, with some of those continuous improvement that we are doing, right, we can continuously improve. But if you are earning about 20 or 19 or 20% a month, that means that it takes you about 5 months, right, to actually get your ROI, right, return on your investment or your capital. I think that is brilliant, right? Because this is the most important thing when come to investment, or when come to, putting your money anywhere. You always want to know your ROI. So the faster your ROI, the better it is. Okay, you don't want to be part of a platform where you have to wait for 10 months or 20 months, right? You want to be part of a platform whereby you can actually get. So our goal when we design, okay, our goal is around 4 to 6 months. So we are roughly around I think around 5 months, right? I think this is brilliant. Okay, so please put up in the chat room, okay, what do you think of this performance? And please understand, guys, this is a net profit, okay, not your realized profit. Okay, realized profit, if you look at this note, right, realized profit is calculated after deduction of Bitget fees. So after, when the bot closes, all the fees, okay, all the fees, okay, will be taken into consideration. All the Bitget fees, okay, will be taken into consideration, and then only we get the realized profit. From the realized profit is where the profit sharing takes place between our global partners and JDXBOT. Okay, 75-35, 75-25. Okay, so this is where you have the net profits, refers to users' net earning after deducting of the strategy fee from the realized profit. Okay, so this is how profit sharing actually works. So profit sharing works from the total realized profit. Okay, so I will probably show you later how to determine this profit in your own bot, okay, in your own app, how you can actually see this profit and how you can calculate your own, net profit and so on. But this is basically is an average based on the asset that we are actually managing for all the users. Okay, so I think if you are in a lot of the other platform, what do? They give you a net profit, and then only they divide the net profit, right? 50-50 or 60-40. We don't do that, right? We don't do that. We divide from the realized profit. That's why our users are enjoying a bigger profitability. Remember, right? What is our tagline? Empowering ordinary people to generate extraordinary income. So that's what we are basically doing here. So we want our users to enjoy a bigger profit, but the most important thing is that the ROI, return on investment. How fast can you recover your capital? That is, I think, the most important thing. All right. Now, also please understand, okay, JDXBOT does not promise a fixed ROI. Okay, result may vary for may vary for each of the users, and past performance is not indicative of the future result. So I'm showing you the result doesn't mean that, that this is a fixed and this is guaranteed. Please understand that, okay? Because every month, every week, every day, the market behaving differently. All right, the market scenario can be different. Sometimes some users are not seeing the result because when their strategy wallet is depleted, they didn't top up. So when they didn't top up, then their bot is actually paused or the bot is deactivated, right? So they don't see the result compared to those who are continuously monitoring their strategy wallet and they are topping up their strategy wallet. So you can see that the result may vary. Okay, so this is important. So that's why make sure that you always monitor. I think the email reminder is that, right? When you receive the email, make sure you top it up. Okay, in that way, your bot is not interrupted and it is continuously running uninterruptedly. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea. So please, okay, don't take this as a guarantee or this is how much I'm going to make, but I'm just giving you an indication. So if every month, okay, every month we can monitor and we can provide this kind of data, right? At least you can see how consistent, the realized profit and the net profit that this strategy is delivering to our global users. So this is brilliant, right? If you can make about 20% or 30%, on an average every single month, I think this is a brilliant return that you can passively earn, okay, from JDXBOT. Okay, so I hope this is helpful for those who are asking about the results. Okay, please take note. Okay, all right, that is great. Okay, now so now before I go in here, right, I want to bring you into the bot. Okay, into the bot. So most of you have your bot, right? So you have your bot and you know that you can actually see all those tradings that is taking place, in your bot, right? So here you can see at the top here. All right, now normally what I do, I put everything into favorite. So it means I got 3 bots, right? I got my USDT, I got my BTC, I got my USDC bot. So all these are my favorite. You can see the star there, right? So it is in my favorite. So it's easy for me to choose any of this bot. Okay, so you can actually go through all these. Okay, all these bots that currently all the bots are running. Right now, at the bottom here you see asset. All right, you tap the assets, and once you tap the assets, so this is important. You can see we have the spot. Now JDXBOT is not doing spot. We are only doing futures for JDXBOT futures and also futures copy trading. Can you see that? The CopyMaster. Okay, so but now I want to focus on the futures first. So if you tap the futures, it will bring you to this page. All right, so now over here, right, you can see there is a PNL, right? You tap the PNL. Okay, now when you tap the PNL, you will see this, right? You see this. Now we account analysis, I think this one you can skip because what you are seeing here, the rate is all floating. So this is not the real close performance. So what we want to see is the close performance. So you go to the trading analysis, tap the trading analysis. Okay, so the trading analysis is basically the close performance. All right, so this is where you get your total realized PNL. So what I want to do, right, I want to show you the month of June, right? So we tap customize, and then here you will see the month of, this is the year and this is June. See that? June. So I want to go all the way to 1st of June. And then this is from and to, right? To, I want to go to the June again. And I want to go all the way to the 30th, right? 30th, right? So 30th. So now you confirm. So when you confirm, you can see, right? Can you see that? Now I'm getting all my data populated here. Okay, all my data populated. So you can see the total realized PNL for USDT, right? USDT. So if you tap here, you can change to the rest of the asset. You can tap coin M is BTC, USDC is USDC, right? So we got 3 bots. So now if you take a look at the USDT here, right, you see the total realized PNL. It's about $61. Now $61 of the capital is $200. So now you can take the 61 and divide by 200, right? You will roughly get probably about 25 or 26% in terms of your realized profit. Now, how do you get your net profit? Please understand, $61, you take 75%, right? 75, 25. So you take 75% from this amount. You see that? So that is how you determine your net profit. All right, this is how you determine your net profit. Now, there are other things over here which are some of these some of the elements are important for you to know, like example, winning rate. So you can see our winning rate will always be 50% or more. That's all. We don't even actually want to have a 90% or 80%. I will explain to you later why, because we are doing a hedging, right? We are doing a dual position. We are doing a hedging. So when you are doing a hedging trading, your win rate will be 50% or more. Now, if you look previously, right, the win rate was actually around 50%. Why now the win rate is around 65? Because of the partial profit taking. All right, because of the partial profit taking, now our win rate has increased slightly. But win rate is not that important, because even if your win rate is 90%, the 10%, okay, can actually be deceiving, because the 10% losses can even be huge than your 90% win. So win rate may not be the right indicator for you to actually evaluate the performance of any trading. So which will be a more superior performance is your P&L ratio, right? So you can see the P&L ratio is 2.78. Now, the P&L ratio means that for every dollar I lost, I make about $2.78. Isn't that awesome, right? So my ratio must be double or triple. All right. If your ratio is double, then your performance will be good. So if you look at probably BTC, right? Let's look BTC. Can you see? BTC performance is 3 times, all right, compared to USDT performance. You see that? So this is what it meant by the P&L ratio. All right. So you can actually check each of these performance. Okay. And then you can also see the number of days profitable, the number of days losses. So we have no losing days. 17 days are all profitable days. Now, why there are no data some of the days? Because the positions are floating. Okay, and floating is common, okay, when it comes to trading. Please understand that, okay? So you can see, I think for the past 8 days, we have the floating. So that means that probably by this week, if the position closed, all those profit, okay, that with the DCA that has been floating will probably deliver huge profit this coming week or so, right? So we have to wait for the market to actually reverse, okay? So that's what we are waiting for, okay? So I hope this is clear, right? So this is how you actually determine the realized P&L. And from the realized P&L, you take 75% of this as your net profit. So means 25% is actually you can transfer to your strategy fee to pay for the strategy fee, right? So about 25%. All right, 20 to 25%. So that's why we always tell you, maintain your strategy wallet. Okay, so if you're 20% or 25% of your capital, right? So if your capital is $1,000, 20% will be $200. Okay, that is your total realized, right? $200. From the $200, okay, you need to allocate 20 or 25% for your strategy fee. All right, so that's basically how it works. So I hope this is helpful. Okay, so this is some of the important things that you need to know. So you can see, right, this is a third-party result that is provided by BitGet. So JDXBOT cannot change any of this result. We cannot alter, we cannot manipulate. So whatever you see here is provided by BitGet. All right, provided by BitGet. So whatever the performance of the bot, it will show, right? There is full transparency here because this is an independent report provided by BitGet. All right. So I hope this is clear. Okay. I hope this is helpful. All right. So so you can then get back into your futures and you can see the trading taking place. Okay, live here, right? Yeah, live here. So if you want to check the trend, you can check the trend over here. Can you see that? So you can see when the positions are placed, how many DCAs are done, and so on. Everything will be there, okay? Because this is 100% transparent, okay? So I hope this is clear. All right, now let's just get back to the slide, okay? Okay, all right. Now, before I proceed, right? Any questions that you would like to ask me? Anything that you would like to clarify with the information I provided regarding to the realized profit and also the performance of the bot? Any questions? You can actually raise your hand at the bottom there if you want to. There is a raise hand icon if you want to ask me a question. or else you can even put in the chat room. I hope this is clear, okay? Or else I will proceed with the rest of the presentation, and then we will try to end as soon as possible. I hope you are learning, guys. Are you learning? Is this helpful? Please put in the chat room, okay? Please put in the chat room. That will be great. Okay, great. Now let's just move on, okay? Let's just move on. Let's just make these things quick. Okay, so as I mentioned to you, right, the two important indicator there, right, a win rate and also the P&L ratio. So now let's understand a little bit more, okay? Let's look into the difference between these two items, right? The P&L and also understanding P&L ratio and also the win rate. Okay, so now the first thing is that definition, right? What is a win rate and what is a P&L ratio? Now, win rate means is a percentage of trades closed in profit, right? And P&L ratio means average size of profit compared to average size of losses, right? Now, this is the formula: winning trades divide by total trades times 100%. All right, average profit per winning trade divide by average loss per losing trade. Can you see that? So this is the difference in terms of the formula between the win rate and P&L. Next. Now, the focus, right? The focus is basically frequency of the profitable trade. So people who actually look into the win rate, their focus is always how many profitable trades. That's all they are focusing on. They don't show you the losing trades. All right, they are only focusing on the winning trade. Now here we look into the magnitude of profit related to losses. So we look into both, right? So whether I have more profit or more losses, because this will then show me the ratio. If I have more, the goal is to have more winning, right? Because then your P&L ratio will be much greater, right? Next, we have the target, right? High win rate above 60 to 70%. This is the common goal. If you can get 80, 90% is good, but win rate not necessarily translate to profitability. Okay, please understand that. Okay, for P&L ratio above 1.5 or 2.0 is desirable. JDXBOT currently is meeting this standard. Okay, we are normally be doing either 2 or 3, right? 2 or 3. Maximum it can go to 5. Okay, so if you can double your profit, it's considered very good already. Okay, for every $100 you make $200. All right, that's basically the whole idea. Okay, next, the example here is that 80% win rate but small profit, large losses can still be unprofitable. Did I mention to you, right? So although your win rate is high, you are so proud, and most of the influencer in the YouTube, they do this, right? They only show you the win rate. They only show you the profitable, but then they don't show you. So if they claim 90%, the question is, where is the 10%? What happened to the 10%, right? So they will not show you the 10%. They only show you the 90%. So they deceive so many people to join their classes, to join their trainings and so on, because they did not disclose the 10%. All right. Now, for the P&L ratio, although the win rate is 40%, but large P&L ratio can be very profitable. Can you see that? I show you just now, our win rate is only about 60%, but our P&L ratio is huge, right? So it is very profitable. All right, this is very important. Okay, for you to judge if you are doing comparison. Okay, which platform or which bot that you want to join or whatever. This comparison is very important, or else you can be deceived just by looking at the win rate. That's why for the copy trading, I'm not really actually worried about the win rate, because the win rate is not real. It's not really telling you the true story of the performance. Okay, the profitability ratio is the most important. Okay, next, risk management. Now, high win rate often requires tight stop losses. All right, but for high P&L ratio requires letting profit run larger winners. That's why you can see that for JDXBOT or JD Wealth Maker, we don't have any kind of stop losses. Okay, we actually take as much profit that we can, or even we actually place more trades as often as we can, so that we can have more profitability. All right. Now, misconception: high win rate doesn't guarantee profitability. Am I right? As I mentioned to you, right? This is where people are actually deceived, because a lot of the traders only show the win rate, but win rate doesn't guarantee profitability. But when it comes to the ratio, high P&L ratio with low win rate still yield net profit. So that's why, right? When people compare JDXBOT and they say, hey, your win rate is small, or they look into the CopyMaster, they say the win rate is small. This is where they are making mistake. All right, because they are looking at the wrong, not at the wrong indicator to make the judgment. So they go and join someone with a higher win rate, but they don't understand that that higher win rate, the profitability or the P&L ratio can be actually lower. All right, so be very careful. Okay, be very careful when you are making selection, when you are doing a due diligence, when you are selecting which platform or which copy trader that you want to follow. Okay, now next is the trader's preference, right? Some prefer scalping with high win rate and small gain. All right, so normally, right, if you are doing a win rate, then you go for scalping, you do short trades, but then you want to win more. All right, the more you win, the better it is. But the problem is that if you're going to win more, make sure your position size are consistent. All right, or else you may win a few and then you increase your position size and then you lose everything. All right, you have to be very careful. Okay, now others prefer trend following with lower win rate but bigger gains. Okay, so this is our focus, right? So you can see that JD Wealth Maker always focus on trend, the direction of the market, and then we look into, although the win rate is low, but the gain must be higher. Okay, that is important. Okay, next that I miss out there, right? Example calculation. So what I want to do, right? I can show you this example in the next slide. Okay, in the next slide. So you can see over here, right? This is basically how we trade, right? This is how we trade. So you can see example, right? If I decided I want to do 10 positions, right? So maybe the first position I start with $100, second position $100, third position $100, all the way, let's say to 8 position, right? Now, normally, right, trader have an ego. The more they win, they start to increase their trading fund. So finally, right, the more they win and the market now go against them, or something unfortunate happen, now with a bigger capital, they start to lose. All right, they start to lose. So now, you can see, right, position 9 and position 10 is a huge capital there. They lost 2 positions. But if you look into the percentage, it is 80% win rate. Wow. So now, what does this trader do? This trader publish and say that he actually made 80%. And everyone is so excited to join him, right? They say, wow, you are the best trader. But he did not reveal the last 2 positions, the 20% losses. So that's the reason I told you, right? If you go by win rate, you will be deceived, because the 8 that he made actually is a huge loss in terms of the 20% that he lost. Can you see that? So the losses is $1,800. Can you see that? I hope this is clear, right? Now, if you go on the P&L ratio, right, you can see total profit is 1,200. Total losses is 1,800. So the ratio is 0.66. The loss is greater than win. So that is the reason why always look for the P&L ratio, because P&L ratio will show you the true results of that performance of the trader or the performance of the bot. Are you clear? So that's why when we design JDXBOT and the CopyMaster, right, my focus is the P&L ratio, not really the win rate. Can you understand me? So the P&L, so to be able to design an algorithm that focuses on the P&L is more challenging compared to the win rate. All right, compared to the win rate. So that's why we decided to actually follow the P&L ratio consideration when we design the bot, and also when I'm actually managing the CopyMaster, we are looking into the P&L ratio. Okay, I hope this is clear, right? All right, I hope this is clear. Is this helpful? Now, this is what you don't hear outside there, right? This is what people don't get, all right? Because everyone talks about win rate. Every platform talks about win rate, all right? So I hope this is helpful, okay? So put up there in the chat room, okay? I hope this knowledge, this insight, all right, will help to elevate you, right? Elevate you into the next level. So this is what makes JDXBOT a community, right? JD want to make a community different, you know, because we want to educate you so that you understand. So see, now if you know this comparison, right, the way you will look into the market, the way you look into different platform or different provider will be different, because you will not fall to the win rate, okay, because you are focusing on the PNL. Now, let me tell you something. Not all traders or platform will provide you with a PNL. Okay, because that is the most difficult things to do, right? Because they don't monitor the PNL, right? Okay, let me take one questions or input here. Yes, Aruna, please unmute yourself.
Good. Well done, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Please, my question, sorry to draw your attention back. I want to ask on the issue of this, if somebody's subscription is being expired, and the position are still running, and the bot will manage to close all the position. Will somebody will somebody be able to subscribe again after he have closed all the position? Sorry for drawing your attention back.
Yes. No worries about it. Okay, if your position finally, right, if your positions are closed, what will happen is that you see, the thing you need to be very careful is this. Okay, if you are a leader and you are introducing people under you, all right, and these people are renewing, and if your subscription expired, you won't enjoy the referral commission. Please understand that. Okay, please understand.
Okay, sir.
You won't enjoy that, okay, because your subscription is expired. So before your referral starts to renew, make sure you renew your subscription, or else you won't enjoy that. And definitely number two, if you don't renew, then you don't get any profit, right? So that is basically what happened, right? So it's up to you, okay? Because we will not force you to renew, because it's up to you, right, to renew. So if you want to renew and you want to continue to enjoy, 20 or 30%, as I show you, right, our result at the moment, so you can take advantage of that. All right. So that's so. I think this is a good question. Let me show you. I think I forgot to show you the back office, right? If you look, right, if this is how it will look like, all right? You see that? So if you look, right, you can see that all these three bots, right? You see time completed. That means that the subscription is completed, but there is one bot that is still actually running. You see that? So although the subscription already expired, but this USDT bot is still active. You see that? So JDXBOT will not close this position yet, because if we close, it will be a loss to your side. So we don't want to do that, right? So you see, it is still active. It is still running, although, right, the time already completed. Now you tell me, right, who wants to do this, right? We are actually giving you an extra service, extra value-added service to still manage your position until it closes in profit. All right, so I hope this is clear, okay? So this is just to show you the actual scenario in your dashboard, okay? So you can see that, okay? So I hope that is important, and I hope I have answered that question, right? So don't worry, even once the position is closed, you may take few days or few weeks, right? You might want to go and gather the fund and so on. So what you can do, you can gradually, right? You can gradually maybe start with one bot or whatever. Or if you want to do together, then you save instead of 300, you only pay 250, right? Because the subscription, at the moment, we are not increasing the subscription fees. Okay, but at one point, right, we will start to increase the subscription fees. Once we decided we don't want so many people to join us, then we will increase the fees. So lesser and lesser people will join us. So that will make the group more private, right? But at the moment, we don't have those plans. So the fees is still the same. So take advantage of it, okay? All right, now, let me just proceed, and let's try to conclude this AMA session today, okay? Now, the other thing, right now, so as a conclusion, right, as I mentioned to you, win rate shows how often you win. P&L ratio shows how big you win compared to losses. Right now, both metrics must align with your strategy and risk appetite. Solely chasing a high win rate without good P&L ratio can be deceptive, as I mentioned to you, right? Now, many professional traders focus more on P&L ratio and risk management than the win rate alone. This is what we do at JD Wealth Maker. Okay, I hope this is clear, right? Now, the other thing that I want to also show you guys is the CopyMaster. All right. Now the CopyMaster here, right? At the moment, most of the positions are floating. We have not 100% closed all the position. So now what I want to show you is basically how can you actually check your unrealized profit. All right. Now, please, okay, do not go and close any of the position, even if it is profitable. Just leave it there, okay, until I close all that position. Okay, so just hang on there for a while. So now, how do you actually check, okay, your CopyMaster, right? So it's the same Bitget, right? If you have a Bitget account, it's the same Bitget. You go and click the asset. Now, once you click the asset, you see up here, right? Futures copy trading. So you tap futures copy trading. So when you tap the futures copy trading, it will bring you to the manage. You see that management, right? So you can actually tap the management there. And here you can see all the trades that you have, right? You can click here and you see all the trades are there. All right, you can see, okay, all these trades are floating, right? So you just leave as it is, right? Because we are managing this position for you at this moment, okay? So once all this position close, then we will see the realized. Because at the moment, right, you are not able to see your realized profit. So where can you see your realized profit? So let's get out from here. And then you go to home. Tap the home at the bottom. And then here, right? Here you will see, okay? Sorry. Now here, right, you will see, you will see, let me just see, where is it? You see that? You can go to more. Sorry, you can go to more here. Okay, just drag this, go to more. Click more, right? And then you see trading, right? And then you see copy. So you tap the copy. So once you tap the copy, it will bring you here. So what you can do, right? You can go to the search. All right, sorry, you don't have to. You can go to discover, and then you tap the search button here, and then you can key in JDXCopyMaster, right? CopyMaster. See that? It will appear there. All right, it will appear there. But although it appears that, doesn't mean anyone can join JDXCopyMaster because it is only open to the private. Right. So now you tap the JDXCopyMaster, right? And then you will see all these things, right? Don't worry about all these things. Not important. At the moment, not important because our positions are floating, right? So we don't really care about all these things yet. But what I want you to see is go to the copier, right? Copier. Now, this is where you see the profit. Can you see that? So over here, right, you can see this is your username. Can you see that? So the username is not complete because it is a privacy, right? So only you know which is yours. Okay, only you know. So like my case here, I have a Wealth Maker bot here. See that? Wealth Maker bot. It has been running for the past 36 days. All right. Now this ROI is my floating ROI because we have not closed yet. So you don't need to worry about this ROI. But the one that is already closed, right? This is the realized, this is the profit, but it is not realized rent. So at the moment, Wealth Maker bot has already generated about $314 in profit for a capital of $800. Is this good? So at $800 capital, already delivered $314, okay, for the past 36 days. Can you see that? So this user, 24 days, he already made about 687. So all the 43 users list, right, will be here. Can you see that? All the 43 users will be here. All right, you can actually check. So if it is you, you will know which is yours. All right, you can check in your own bot. All right, so this is how you check your profit. So now, when will this profit realize? When all the position is closed. So that is my goal, right? So if this week, all right, if this week or next week, you know, I can get all these position closed, all right, so that will be great because then we can actually, you know, we can actually see all those realized profit. Okay, so this is how you basically check your unrealized profit, and this is how you roughly know how much profit is there when we actually close. But please understand, by the time we close, there will be more profit, right? Because there are still positions that is actually floating. All right. So this is just to show you how you can actually check and actually confirm your total unrealized profit at this moment. Okay. So if you have a positions and so on, right, please just leave those positions. Hopefully, okay, we will be able to close those positions very soon. Okay. So so that is it, guys. So that is what we want to share with you today. All right. So you get the market outlook. At least you understand now the snapshot of the market. All right. Let's just quickly see what happens to the to the after the report, right? Yeah, so you can see, okay, there was a massive sell-off, right? Can you see that? There was a sell-off, right? So from 110, you see a sell-off to 108, and now it is moving sideways. So let's just watch and see, because most of the time after this kind of news, right, it might take a few hours before you even see the impact to the price and so on. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay, so I hope that is clear on the market. And next, you also have the understanding about about the JDXBOT, right? So I explained to you about JDXBOT, but I think the most important is the win rate versus the P&L ratio. If anything that you are learning today, right? If anything that you want to take back home, please make sure you understand about the P&L and the win rate. Because this is where people are deceived, because they look at the win rate and they say, wow, this trader makes 90%. So what? What is the 10% losses, right? I want to know the 10% losses, not the 90% win, because the 10% losses can be hidden, all right? But if you ask the trader, can you show me your P&L? Probably the trader is confused because he is only looking at the win rate. He may not really know about the P&L ratio, right? So this is important, okay? So when it comes to trading, so that's why, right? To be part of the right trader, to be part of the right company is very important, all right? So that's why in JD Wealth Maker, right, we have this wealth of resources. And as a trader, I understand exactly what is win rate, what is P&L. And the way we design our trading is based on the P&L. So you must be part of the right, okay, right company or right trader, okay, if you want to do well. Or else you join someone with a high win rate, but then you lose everything after that, because that 10% or 20% is, they don't show you. It is hidden, okay? So please be very careful on this, okay? So, and then you also learn about JDXCopyMaster, how you can actually check your unrealized profit and so on, right? That is important. So now, guys, if you are interested, you know what to do, right? Go and watch our business review that we do on Tuesday. I think the presentation is in the group and also in the YouTube channel, JDXBOT YouTube channel. So you can go and find those information. And if you want to be part, go and get to your introducer, because at the moment everything is done private. We are not opening to the public. All right, get to your introducer, or you have to send email to support in order for you to become part of JDXBOT and also JDXCopyMaster. Okay. Now, guys, I hope you guys are happy with the performance of the JDXBOT so far. All right? I hope that you are happy. Please understand, to be able, to generate a 20% net profit, consistently, if we can do 20%, 30%, 20%, consistently an average of 20% after deducting all the profit, all the fees and so on. I tell you, this is a wonderful platform to be in, right? So so I don't know about the CopyMaster, but I think looking at my excitement, because we are just starting, right? I think that's going to be massive. Okay, when we close the position, it's going to be massive, but it may not be, because please understand, it is done manually, like last night, right? Actually, early morning, I was still awake. All right, I was still awake watching the Ethereum trade. That's why you saw me closing the Ethereum trade with a huge profit, right? 40% ROI, right? ROE. I think we did two. I took partial profit, so I closed twice. So you can see that what happened, your available balance increases when the profit is high. All right. So, but that requires me to be awake, okay? To be awake in the night. And I can't be doing that all the time. That's why JDXBOT is the best, because it is a fully automated, okay? Fully automated algo trading. For CopyMaster is manual. So I do not know how long I can do that. But as long as I can do that, I will try. Okay. But the thing is that trading is just my lifestyle. Okay. So that is what I do. So I'm actually passionate and excited about it. Okay. So if I can deliver the result and share with you guys, right, that would be really, really exciting. Okay. Yes, Obong, please unmute yourself. Good to have you, Obong.
Thank you, Dr. JD. Sorry,
Most welcome.
I was using my phone. I was outside my house, so just back to the house to use the laptop. Great work, Dr. JD. Great work that you are doing.
Most
For
welcome.
me, I'm really happy, and you know why. 6 years now, you know why I'm really, really happy. Added to the now with the JDXCopyMaster. So the result that I'm seeing, this result that you just shared for the JDXBOT is, to me, is outstanding, excellent. I don't know how to put it, because the trading capital is intact. You know, you are not losing anything, and if this continues this way, it's a fantastic result as far as I'm concerned. You know, your capital is there, and you are getting. So I really, really appreciate what you are doing. God bless you. There's something you mentioned something during business review. Um, the last business review, that you are also still doing some improvement opportunities. I don't know if that is still on course. I know you mentioned something like that. Business review. So I just need to find out if that is still going on. But with what we are seeing, honestly, team, for me, I don't know of all of us, but I think for me, I'm really, really happy, because for the kind of job we do, it's really difficult having a time to sit down to do this. But this board is doing what I would say, like, it's doing magic. I may put it that way. So we really appreciate Dr. JD. Please, let's just stay focused. We are here. A few of us that are here on this call, we will support you. Continue to give you all the support you need within our reach, to ensure that this continue, because this will help extraordinary people outside all of us that are currently with you, testing this with you. So this is great work you are doing. Thank you very, very much.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Obong. Truly appreciate that, that compliments and the encouragement. Obong has been following me for the past about 6 years. Okay, so you know how appreciative is he, because he's working in the offshore, right? So if you are in the offshore and you are fully engaged with work, then you might you might want this kind of solution, right? And I think you have to really thank him, because he's one of the one that actually been pushing us for many, many years to actually create this algo trading, this JDXBOT. So that's why he's very grateful, for this solution that is in play. That's why, right? Come on, guys, you have to be smart. Okay, you have to be smart. Instead of learning how to trade and making all the blunders, what you can do is that just connect with what is already there and been tested for many, many years, because we have already tested this since 2009. All right, so this is my expertise in futures trading. Please understand, not every platform, everyone have a futures trading, especially when it comes to leverage, because it is the most riskiest. Everybody goes for the spot because they say spot is less risky, right? Less risky, you earn less. All right, higher volatility, you earn more. All right, that is it. That is how it works, right? Risk and reward. So, but the thing is that although there is a risk, but we also manage the risk. Okay, we try to manage, making sure that. So that's why when Obong said that your capital is protected, that is important, right? Because at the end of it, imagine, right? You are making 20% and your capital is still intact. Wow, that is good. And 20% net profit, guys. I'm not talking about a realized profit, right? A net profit after deducting everything, and yet your capital is still there. So in 5 months, you get your ROI, your capital is still there, right? You can continue, or you can even compound and keep earning more. It's up to you, right? But the thing is that this is what we call a smart, right? A smart trader, right? So it's a smart person This is what you want to do. You want to leverage on people who already walk this path, already have the expertise for many years, already tested this bot, and understand what they're really doing. Now, not many people can even explain about win rate and P&L. Can you see that? So follow the leader or follow, someone who is transparent, who is interested in the person, not only in the profit or in the money, right? That's why we don't care who join, how many people join. It's immaterial. But if we can empower the people with profit and with education like this, right? You become a better person. Please understand, the more you learn, the more you earn. So how you going to convert your learning and monetize it is important. So whatever you learn today, can you monetize it? That is important, right? So that's why how to monetize it. If you are not part of JDXBOT and JDXCopyMaster, then you need to monetize it. Look for ways how you can be part of it. Can you see that? So that is important. Okay. Those of you who want to join, right? You can, if you can send for the JDXBOT. Okay, you need to send an email to support. Let me put up there in the group. Send an email to support. This is if you don't have a referral. Okay, if you have a referral, please don't send an email to us. Okay, go and refer. Go and check with your referral. That is for the JDXBOT. For JDXCopyMaster, okay, you send an email, okay, to copymaster at jdwealthmaker.com, right? So you send an email, okay? If you are someone here today, or if you are listening to this and you don't have an introducer, then you can send an email. JDXBOT is support@jdxbot.com. For JDXCopyMaster, copymaster@jdwealthmaker.com, okay? But if you are here, someone has actually introduced you, invited you, please be honorable, okay? Get back to the person, use their referral link to join, okay? Please understand that, okay? So right, yeah, as I mentioned, right? So this is basically, I think it's a brilliant opportunity. Now, to answer the question that Obong was asking about the improvement, right? Now, please understand, you see, we always adopt a continuous improvement, continuous improvement mindset, because I don't believe that once you set everything, that is it. Because please understand, crypto is very dynamic. Market is changing every single second. So that's why we continuously improve the bot. Okay. So at the moment, right, we go through the we went through some of the technical glitches. We managed to set everything in place. I think we got just one more item that we are slightly improving. That will not affect much on your performance, but we are just trying to improve a few one of the item. And thereafter, right, I'm going to let the bot to run. And once the bot starts to run, and then we are starting to see consistent 20-30%, 20-30% net profit, I will then start to slowly increase the profitability. Okay, might be let's say, right, 1% every week or 1% every month. We will slowly increase it. Okay, so I think that will be better, because my goal is the ROI, right? 4 to 6 months. That is the goal. Currently, we are about 5 months, right? So if we can get to about 4 months, I think that will be awesome, right? So now, please understand, okay, ROI is important. With the same capital, if I can get my ROI in 4 months, the capital can be cycled for three times a year. Can you see that? So if you can get your ROI in 3 months, I can cycle the same capital 4 times a year. You see how we think, right? So this is how you should be thinking. So or you can even compound, right, your capital, because incremental. So the more you compound, you get incremental return on your compounded amount. All right. So that is what we are going to do. So means moving forward, right, the focus will be on improving the performance, the profitability of the bot, while we maintain the resilience and also safeguard our users' position. Okay, that is the most important thing, right? So so I hope that clarifies the question Obong was asking, right? And I think this is important, because everyone knows what we are exactly doing and how we are looking into continuously improving the performance of the bot. Okay, because I know that those of you who are already part of JDXBOT, you are already enjoying the results. Okay, so it's just that now we want to make things consistent, more profitable, you know, so that you can continuously enjoy without even worrying, right? And you can just leave the bot to do what is required and so on. Okay, so I hope that is great. Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, guys. If there is there any other questions, any other things that you would like to clarify before we adjourn the meeting today? Okay, I hope you guys are blessed with today's AMA session. Remember, AMA session is only the first week and the third week of the month. All right, so the next will be 2 weeks from now. But our business, please send an email. Okay, Kevin, please send an email to copymaster@jdworkmaker.com. The support will assist you. All right, the support will assist you. So the support will send you the link for you to join. Okay, please understand. All right, so for the business review, it is done every week on Tuesday. Okay, so if you have someone new, they want to know about JDXBOT and how JDXCopyMaster works, then okay, please do invite them to join the Tuesday session. Okay, so with that, I would like to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. All right, so we will catch up with you again next week on Tuesday. Okay, God bless you all. This video will be posted in our YouTube and also in the group. Okay, so if you are already part of our private group, you will be able to watch this YouTube once again. Okay, all right, guys. God bless each and every one of you. We will catch up once again. Take care.